Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Seduce Me 2. We are here with Settle keeping our mouth shut. Don't know why. What the hell? I looked ahead of us to see a sight I never wanted to see. Diana straddling over Sam's waist as he slept, looking down at him with pure concentration. What was she doing now? Did this have something to do with what happened last night?
Patience, child.
I froze at the sound of the voice in my head. The voice was in on this act too.
She's merely following instructions. No harm will come to him.
Are you sure? Be patient. He told us to be patient. He doesn't seem like an evil guy, I guess. This was another test, another trial Sam had to go through. What kind of elaborate scheme was this? Looking at Diana, however, I could tell that she didn't want to do whatever the voice had instructed. Her lips were curved in an almost disgusted grimace as she looked down at Sam. Diana let out a small sigh before pressing her index finger into the top of her head and dragging it down her face, between her eyes and all the way down to her crotch. What then? The line that formed Diana's skin seemed to grow and envelop her body in a strange purple light, changing her skin and almost shrinking in her form. As the magic finally settled and faded away, I gasped at sight. Diana's new body was my own, only without clothes. Every curve, every crevice of her body matched mine, and even the voice that came out of her mouth perfectly mirrored my own. Sam, wake up. I felt nauseous watching her run her fingers along Sam's hair, just like I would. How the hell did she know anything about how Sam and I interacted intimately? This was creepy and gross, and I felt myself naturally struggle against Settle to be free. Sam's eyes fluttered open, and just at the sight of me straddling over his hips, as Diana gave him my perfect smile, I mentally panicked. What was he going to do? Would he fall for this? No way! There was no way! Sam's eyes trolled up and down Diana's body, just like how he would with me whenever he saw me without clothes. My heart was breaking a bit at the sight.
Get the fuck off me.
Oh, snap. He recognized that it was not me. Cool. I guess as Sam suddenly sat up, gripped Diana's neck, and began to squeeze. Instinctively, Settle tightened his hold on me, most likely struggling to obey previous commands they put.
What the fuck do you think you're doing, bitch?
I guess there's no voice for her because it's supposed to be our voice. A large part of me felt relief that Sam could see whatever illusion Diana threw on herself. The smaller part of me began to fear Diana's neck being snapped because of it. She continued to act like me to perfection as she gripped Sam's wrist. I was mildly scared to see Sam holding Diana, who looked like a copycat of me, in a strange, messed up way. It was like watching a movie where I was a character in the scene, watching the man I loved act with the actress playing me. That would be horrible. The more I watched Sam crush Diana's neck, the more I can imagine him doing that to me, which made me fearful. He would never hurt me, but to see it happening to someone who looked and acted like me was another thing.
If this is some kind of fucked up joke to you, I will end you right now!
Diana began to cry, most likely losing air from Sam's death choke on her. As she coughed, her body began to quake from lack of oxygen.
Shut the fuck up!
Sam released a hand from Diana's neck and pushed it into her stomach, lifting her off of him and shoving her off of his lap and against the bar wall. Diana crumbled against the floor, curling herself as she coughed violently and shook from the pain that obviously racked through her. Sam, however, jumped out of bed and walked to Diana, at Diana, glaring down at her.
You're not her. Where is she, Diana?
Diana looked up at him, tears rushing down my eyes, as she gripped her neck. Sam, it's me, stop it, cause it's totes me. Sam quickly lifted his foot, causing Diana to flinch and cover herself with her hands over her head, bracing for impact. While I expected Sam to fall for Diana's trick at the sight of my weakness, he let the kick he was charging up fly into Diana's stomach, slamming her against the wall. He didn't stop, however. He slamming his foot again into her, rebounding her against the wall like a soccer ball.
Where is she?
Oh my gosh. My body began to quake at the sight of Sam kicking Diana, who very much continued to act like me despite the barrage of pain Sam was inflicting on her. That was messed up and wrong. Why was Diana doing this? Why was she letting this happen?
She is following my instructions as I demanded.
Well, what the fuck? Fuck your directions! What are you doing to her? I began to grow fearful of Sam, instinctively placing myself in Diana's place. It was only natural since she was acting like me right now. Deep in my heart, I knew Sam would never do this to me. But the fear began to fester at the sight of him beating down an image of...
Fear not, child. He knows very well who he is attacking. I can hear his heart crying as yours is now.
What do you mean?
He despises doing this, but you have become the priority over the illusion. He pretends to see the succubus as she really is, as he tries to get his answer.
Oh.
A truly interesting demon.
I shut my eyes. Diana was doing a job, and Sam obviously saw through it. He wasn't attacking me. He was attacking Diana for tricking him and assuming she was hiding me from him. I only opened my eyes again to see Sam lift Diana by the throat and pin her to the wall, forming a sword in his free hand and lining up the tip between her eyes. Even with the blade mere inches away from her face, Diana continued the act, crying and shaking in fear. Amores.
I will kill you!
Within a blink, the hand on me vanished and Sam flew back from Diana, releasing her and slamming into the far wall. I crumbled to the ground and quickly looked up to see Seto holding Diana close to his side as his form emanated a holy white aura. His eyes burned intense, deadly hatred as white, tinted magical barriers surrounded his and Diana's body.
Enough!
Sam shook his head and jumped up, but at the sight of the real me, he instantly dropped his sword and tackled me, wrapping his arms around me and hugging me tightly.
Holy shit! You're okay!
Oh my god. Sam, what were you thinking? He was probably mentally scared. I stared into his shoulder, feeling him shake violently as he held me. My body couldn't help but shudder with him, feeling every ounce of his love as he gripped me tightly. He knew where his heart belonged, and it led him back to me, even with unbelievably odd attempting to sway him. I wrapped my arms around Sam and buried my face into his shoulder, nodding to him. I'm right here, Sam. Sam refused to let go, digging his fingers into my shirt and pulling me even closer still to his chest. I could feel his heartbeat pound against his chest as he pressed me against him. I, however, peeked over Sam's shoulder to see Diana shift back from my image to her own form, collapsing against Seto. With ease, Seto lifted Diana into his arms like she was a bride who had fainted but continued to glare at the back of Sam's head. Finally, Sam lifted his head and looked at Seto, a growing glare of his own.
Tell that bitch to stay away from me if she wants to keep breathing.
I can hear you, brute.
Let him speak against Diana, tell Sam the truth? Why is his route so hard? Should we tell him the truth? Would he believe us? Or should we just let him talk shit to Diana? Because I'm honestly not understanding why Diana's part of it. Tell Sam the truth. I don't know if this is correct or not. At this point, I don't even care because this is so hard. Sam was completely right to be angry. He had every right to want her to stay away from him. However, he also deserved to know the truth of why they did what they did. Sam, they had to. Sam looked at me with a confused look mixed with anger, so emanating from his rage at Diana, no doubt. I gripped Sam's shoulder and forced him to fully face me. There's this voice that keeps saying you're being tested. It said that Diana and Seto were following its orders and testing you. I knew it was making little to no sense, but it was the truth of the matter. Sam had to believe me. His eyes continued to flow with confusion, making me worried.
She's telling the truth.
I didn't ask you, bitch.
She doesn't need your permission to speak, mutt.
Sam closed his eyes and pressed his lips together, most likely taking in what they had said, before he glared at Seto and Diana.
Why?
Seto continued to glare at Sam in silence, but Diana lifted her head and looked to Sam from Seto's arms.
Because it said it will ensure our victory.
Sam raised an eyebrow, slowly starting to believe that this was a false reason, but held his arm, looking to him in hope and earnest. Sam took a moment to look at me before sighing and shaking his head.
What said that?
Some powerful being. I don't know why, but I can feel that this being is more powerful than any of us.
Is that it?
Diana nodded and rested her head on Settle's chest, causing him to hug her body against him.
It won't speak its name, but we're certain we'll find out what it is.
Sam nodded before looking to the ground.
Can you go now?
Without another word, Settle walked out of the room with Diana, most likely to help her recover for the training day ahead.
I'm going to kick the shit out of him in training.
At least we were alone. I let out a sigh and wrapped my arms around Sam, laying my forehead against his shoulder. You okay?
No, I'm not. Whatever this thing that keeps testing me is, it got you involved.
Sam wrapped his arms around me and buried his head in my hair, letting out an aggravated sigh.
I'm sorry. Diana was pretending to be you, and I just...
I could hear the regret in his voice, slightly breaking my heart. I knew deep down that he would never hurt me and that he was trying to find me. I was wise enough to know the reason for his anger. It's okay. Sam was distraught and I needed to ease his worries. I understood him perfectly. I hugged Sam to me and kissed his cheek as he trembled in my arms. He wrapped his arms back around me and simply let silence pass between us.
What the fuck is going on?
I didn't know what to say, so I simply held him until it was time to train. Let them finish. There has to be a way. There's always a way. Try. Oh, wait, dodge, sorry. Are you okay? Is there any way to prove your love to her? Because we're so into that. I slowly made my way into the room. I sat back onto the bed, letting the rush of exhaustion run through me like a wave of water. I shut my eyes and fell back asleep. Oh, well, not asleep. Fell back onto the mattress with a soft thud. We were a handful of days away, and I wasn't sure how we were going to handle it, now that we were apparently being tested on top of it.
You have nothing to fear from me, child.
I would really like to know who you are. I didn't even have the strength or care to sit back up. I let out a sigh and continued to stare at the ceiling, greeting the voice in my head with a grimace. Why are you doing this? Why not just test them yourself?
One cannot be tested if they are not ready for the consequences.
Flame, you're quite scary, and I still think you're a wizard from your voice. That got me to sit up. I looked to the fireplace, remembering the dream I had of Sam being burnt alive. A shudder ran through my spine as the voice chuckled.
You know what will happen if he is not worthy of my power.
But why must he take it?
He wishes to kill the abomination demon lord, correct?
Yes. My anger flared. How is this being so high and mighty of himself? Yeah. Diana and Settle seemed to respect him for his power, but if he was so powerful, then why wasn't he here himself testing Sam? The voice answered my thought.
I am bound to the dark, as I have always been for eons.
Well, that sucks. Eons.
Yes, child. My kind and I have lived within the depths of the abyssal plains ever since the dawn of time, feeding off of the ashes of the dead and granting the world above us peace.
That's kind of scary. Peace. Was this being some kind of underground creature? How was it able to communicate through fire then?
We are all powerful, child. Should we desire it, we could bring the world to its knees and drown it in endless flame.
But I prefer not for that to happen. From the power behind his voice, I could tell that he was telling the truth. A violent shiver ran up my spine as I imagined the castle and the land around us completely covered in flames. The voice, however, continued.
Fear not, however. We care little for the world above.
Then why get involved now with the Demon Lord?
The Demon Lord is a mad abomination undeserving of the power of the demon world. For what is to come, he must be eliminated.
Okay. What do you mean, what's to come?
Talking to the voice?
Oh. Oh, crap! Sam, what happened to you? I quickly looked to the door to see Sam staring at me intensely, but what surprised me was that he was in demon form. I could only assume his glamorous spell vanished from how much energy he had used in training. I nodded and looked to the fire. The voice was telling me about itself. It apparently lives beneath the demon world. I hope that Sam knew what it was, whatever this thing was. It seemed to think of itself as the most powerful being in the world, which I couldn't verify if it was known to me. Sam, however, cocked an eyebrow.
So it's a dragon.
Wait, what? I shot my head at Sam, both confused and thrown off at the answer. A dragon? A dragon? What did that become part of the list of demons in the world? How are dragons even remotely related to demons? Sam stared at my face and laughed before walking over and ruffling my hair.
What? You didn't think they were real?
I didn't know they were in this world. No, I mean, anything's possible at this rate. But a dragon? How's that possible? Well, now it makes sense because of all the fire. I can just, like, sneeze and bam, fire. The voice in my head laughed at my surprise, but what shocked me was that Sam reacted as well to the laughter, looking around the room in shock.
The fuck?
I am surprised that you know of what I am. Oh, Maurice.
So it is a dragon.
Call me Sam.
You choose to acknowledge your human name.
Human name? Yes, he does. Why you gotta say it like that?
Yeah, I do. Got a problem with that?
You become more interesting to me every day that passes, Sam.
Thanks. Now why the fuck are you testing me?
Do you wish to kill the Demon Lord?
I watched a flash of rage rush across Sam's eyes as he nodded. Penny gazed at the fire before us and seeing the same eyes I had seen before appear within the flames.
Yeah, I do.
Then I will grant you my power, if you are worthy to take it.
What? If I'm worthy? What's that supposed to mean?
If you're worthy to accept this power and not be burnt to crisp. The voice ignored Sam and focused his attention on me.
Child, you should prepare for tomorrow. You will be tested as well.
Me? I stared into the fire, now slightly afraid of what test this thing had in store for me. Would I have Diana disguise herself as Sam? Could Diana even do that? I didn't want to assume that it would use the same trick twice. The possibilities were endless. I shook my head and took a deep breath. I had to be strong and show it that I wasn't afraid. Alright, I'll be ready.
Such confidence for a human.
Psh, don't speak merely. Oh, but see, I tried to be cool and it didn't work out. But don't put me down like that, okay? Just because I'm human. With that, the eyes vanished from the flames and Sam looked to me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders.
You alright?
Are you alright? Just the tone of his voice of caringness is so sweet. No or yes. We can't be weak all the time. Yeah, I'm cool. I was nervous. There was no way I could have been alright. Yet, deep in my gut, I knew that everything was going to be okay. I had to be confident in my skills, that I was ready for whatever this thing threw my way. I nodded to Sam, seeing him smile a bit. I gave him a little smug smile and flexed my arm. I'll be okay. Let me at it. Sam laughed, now relaxed and gently nudged me.
Good. Now kick the test's ass, whatever it is.
Hell yeah. We're his fiancé. We gotta show the world that we can kick ass too. I nodded softly. I had to breathe. Everything would be okay. As I took a deep breath, it took a moment to take in that Sam was still in demon form. I chuckled a bit and touched his horns, which I found hilarious as they protruded from the sides of his head like a handlebar. I'm never going to get used to this. Oh, used to you in this form.
Huh? Oh, shit! I forgot to turn back. Sorry!
I stared at Sam as he stepped back and looked down at his form in surprise. As he rubbed the back of his forehead, I could see the comfort he had in what was his true form. While it wasn't totally different from his human form, he still had horns and the incubus taint on his skin. Sam shook his head and began to charge his energy.
I'll change back.
Stop him. No, you don't got to. I mean, he's comfortable in this form, and we're in the demon world. Doesn't matter. Sam was comfortable in that form. If he was exhausted, then he didn't have to use more energy to glamour himself. I held up my hand and walked over, placing it on his chest and stopping him.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. You don't have to. Sam stared for the longest time before smiling and nodding. I was happy to know that he was considerate enough to consider my feelings. But if he was happy in his true form, then I didn't mind sleeping beside it. Yeah, it says true form. We gotta love our people, no matter what they look like. Especially when you have, like, chunky cheeks that were chipmunks for a whole week. And constantly drooling, because that's what I had to go through. Wisdom teeth surgery, chunky cheeks, like a chipmunk, drooling all the time. And I just looked completely sad. You guys know the filter on Snapchat that makes your face, like, super chunky? And it's like, you have blusher in cheek, or sometimes it's like star crown with the heart dimple or whatever. Yeah, I was that chunky. My face, so chunky, swollen, weak, horrible. And all I had was pudding, which is probably why I lost so much weight in my face and my whole body. Everyone's complaining that I'm too skinny. Whatever. Thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.